this hour with breaking news. An Atlanta police officer is in the hospital after being shot while serving a murder warrant in Henry County. And Jonathan, we know that this is some news that is coming into the newsroom right now. Limited details, but we do know that we have a couple of crews that are on scene as we work to gather some more information about this.
That's right. We are having team coverage for you this afternoon. We have our Molly Oak, who is in Henry County. We also have Joe Ripley, who is live at Grady Hospital with the latest on how the officer is doing. We're going to get to those live reports in just a moment.
And we're hearing that Molly Oak is ready to go. So Molly, if you can hear us, what is the latest on this incident? We know that this is breaking news right now. What are we hearing?
Hey guys, we've been on the scene for a couple of hours now, and while the law enforcement presence has really dwindled since we've been out there, you can still see that scene behind me, that house that they've been focused on just down the road, surrounded by caution tape. I want you to take a look at your screen to give you a better look at just what we've been seeing in this area. Again, that home off Linden Lane in the Swan Lake subdivision in Henry County. A rep with the U.S. Marshals Southeast Regional Fugitive Task Force says they were serving a murder warrant out of Atlanta when an Atlanta police officer who was working with their team was shot and hospitalized. Now, we know multiple agencies responded to this shooting. From our vantage point, we saw GBI, Henry County Police, Henry County Sheriff, Clayton County Sheriff, Fulton County Sheriff, and Georgia State Patrol all on scene.
And then more and more cars kept coming, and I finally found where everything was, and then I got stuck, and come to find out, my wife was looking it up online, trying to find out what was going on. Next thing we found out, it was serving a murder warrant, and the marshal got shot, and luckily, he's going to come to find out he's going to be okay. But
and as you just heard James say, that officer is expected to be okay. The U.S. Marshals confirming that for us earlier today. We'll keep you updated as we continue to learn more. Reporting live in Henry County, Molly Oak, 11 Alive News.
Good afternoon to you. I'm Frederick Price. Thank you for joining us. We begin this midday with breaking news in Eastman. Sheriff Brian Robinson tells us a deputy shot and killed a man after an argument at a home. It happened around 10 on Dodge Avenue. Robinson said the deputy apparently arrived to check on a call about pigs running loose. He says the man in the home became angry and fired at the deputy. The officer fired back, killing the man. The deputy himself was wounded in the arm. Neither man's name have been released at this point, and the GBI is now investigating. We have a crew on the way to Dodge County, and we'll have the latest tonight at 5 and 6 o'clock.
At a popular Beaverton clothing store turned deadly after the suspect allegedly pulled a gun on police officers.
Investigators said the suspect fired the weapon before those officers shot and killed him. Fox 12's Dylan Scott is live from that shooting scene in Beaverton tonight. He has the latest. Dylan?
Yeah, Riel and Pete, good evening. We spoke to a lot of customers in the shopping center today that had no idea what had occurred here just last night. Now, a manager at a nearby business said that thefts, if you believe it or not, are pretty common here. How it ended, though, is not.
I saw 2 or 3 police cars over there, but didn't think anything of it because it's kind of just a daily thing. I mean, Beaverton police are in our parking lot every single day.
James Haskin has worked at this Mattress World location across from the Nordstrom rack where it happened for 2 decades. And says while the neighborhood feels very safe, criminal activity of the theft variety has continued to grow over time.
It's kind of career criminals that will just come and park in front of our store, walk over nonchalantly, and walk right back out. There's no repercussions to it, so why not?
Monday night around 8 p.m., what appeared to be one of these typical shoplifting incidents took a deadly turn when Beaverton police in the Washington County Sheriff's Office allege 39-year-old Jacob Daniel Bundy of Portland, who they say was armed with a stolen gun, fought with BPD officers, firing his weapon during the struggle before being shot and killed in the parking lot.
Police work is dangerous. You never know what you're going to and what that person's motive, intent, mental health state is, and this was a very quick evolving situation.
Detective Shannon Wild with WCSO says the incident was about 5 minutes total in length. The officers involved suffered minor injuries and are currently on administrative leave during the investigation. She says no innocent bystanders were hurt, but it's a scary lesson about always being aware.
I think it was clear to some of the witnesses we interviewed that something was happening, and I just urge people to get to safety. If you don't feel safe or you see something, call 911. Don't try to intervene. That was not the case in this case, but just be aware of your surroundings. I think that's always a good message for the public.
As for Haskin and others nearby on a daily basis, it's a reminder that even populated shopping centers have criminals lurking right in plain sight.
We keep those doors locked, or if I kind of notice suspicious activity, I'll lock these back doors here as well, so that only the one point of entrance is in. So it's just being aware and being cognizant of what's going on around.
And we looked into Bundy's past and found out he has dozens of charges dating back to 2005, including assault and unlawful use of a weapon. In Beaverton, Dylan Scott, Fox 12 Oregon.
Good morning. It's Sunday, August 25th. I'm Lisa Evers in the Fox 5 newsroom. Thank you for joining us live on the Fox Local app. A 62-year-old man was shot and killed by two officers in East Harlem. It all started at around 12:30 this morning following several 911 calls. Police say they found a man with a gun in his hand at 103rd and 3rd. According to the NYPD, officers opened fire after the man was repeatedly told to drop the weapon. He died at a local hospital. A gun was found at the scene.
Police officers making a split-second decision to use deadly force when they say a man charged at them with a chainsaw during a disturbance call. 42-year-old Manuel Arteaga was shot and killed last night in an officer-involved shooting. The family sharing these photos with KFDM. That commotion happening when Beaumont police were taking the man's nephew, Raul Arteaga Jr., into custody at the home. Tonight, he is at the Jefferson County Jail, held on aggravated assault charges. His bond has been set at $150,000. This all went down just before 8:30 last night in the 1800 block of Harriet near Avenue A. Beaumont police say Raul Arteaga Jr. was the suspect in the original disturbance call they got. Officers arrived, and while they were arresting him, that's when officers say his uncle, Manuel Arteaga, charged at the officers and his nephew with a chainsaw. Two officers fired, killing Manuel Arteaga. He died on scene. BPD says no officers were hurt. Now a long investigation begins into this disturbance call that escalated in seconds.
Of course, the Beaumont Police Department is committed to transparency and a thorough investigation, which is going to take some time.
Tonight, BPD says both officers are on administrative leave. That is standard protocol when something like this happens. The Texas Rangers are also investigating. The actions of Manuel Arteaga before and during the confrontation with Beaumont police will certainly be under the microscope. While the two BPD officers felt he was a clear and present danger last night in their minds, family members tonight are painting a different picture about who he was. This is video from Roberto Castillo. He is the owner and publisher of La Voz de Beaumont. He interviewed Manuel Arteaga back in October. That's him in the middle there in the tan shirt. Arteaga's niece says he was the father of 4 kids. Yuli Arteaga telling KFDM today Manuel was a hardworking man who had a landscaping and tree business. She says he was always working hard to see that all of his kids were successful. She says Manuel would never try to hurt a police officer, telling us his daughter was going to school for criminal justice and wants to be a trooper. KFDM will continue to provide updates on this developing story as we learn more. By the way, this is the second officer-involved shooting in the city of Beaumont in just over a month. 2 officers shot and killed 68-year-old Charles Carroll on Ashley near 7th Street in the Old Town area back on July 15th. BPD says Carroll was armed and he did not comply with the police officer's commands. This month, the Jefferson County Grand Jury opting to no bill or not take any action against the police officers, meaning they found the use of lethal force against Charles Carroll was indeed justified.